Hello folks, welcome to Legacy IAS. In today's video, we'll be looking into the society and economy of your Rashtrakutas. Alright, let's get into the video. Now, see, before seeing how the society was during the period of Rashtrakutas, we will see how the administration, was having an impact on society. Your Rashtrakutan administration and society. Largely the link is how the society is to be carried forward will be decided by the administration or vice versa. The society decides how the administration is. This also is possible. Now the administration of your Rashtrakutas was, it was decentralized. That is, a lot of functions were taken up in the intermediary levels, in the village levels and in the lower levels of the social strata. It was not always the top down approach but also the bottom up approach too. When we say decentralization or bottom up approach, which means we need effective governance. Alright, what is it we are talking about? Effective governance. Alright, for effective governance to take place, they have to make sure there is efficiency in the system. Only when there is sufficient amount of autonomy, the society can function as a unit. Alright, so for society to function as a unit, all this is the precursor. Alright, now let's have a look at it. Now during your Rashtrakuta, pretty prevalent during your Rashtrakuta time, that is your Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. The condition is, this was the order of ranking in which they had the status. That is, your Brahmin enjoyed the higher post. Next comes your Kshatriya, who was somewhere on the equivalent post of a Brahmin. But there are instances of conflict with respect to power, status quo and everything between the first two classes, that is the Brahmin and Kshatriya. Then comes your Vaishya, who was the largest. Your Vaishya was the largest taxpayer. These two, that is your Brahmin and Kshatriya, were the benefactors of the tax, whereas this was the taxpayer. Taxpayer, benefactor. Now your Shudras, alright. Here now, if you have to say with respect to Rashtrakuta period, the condition was not very drastically improved, but it was better. By better we mean that, still the extreme rigidities hadn't come in. Varna system was there. Alongside, one thing that flourished was your caste system. Now in the caste system also a lot, what do you mean by caste system? Subsects within the same caste. Right? Your Shudras were faring better, but that doesn't mean they were having better than others. Alright, considerable manner were better than the previous times, not better than the other three. The Shudras were better compared to the previous period of time. Alright, again here this comes with disclaimers. Here when we say better doesn't mean the entire society was better. The entire Shudras were treated better in the society. There are things here and there. We do hear of the ill treatment, mistreatment. The top post was occupied by a king. Alright. Now, the king was to make sure, he will be the one who has to, or if the king is supposed to, maintain law and order, peace, justice, alright. So, basically he is given, so let's draw a smiley face also, alright. So, the king is to make sure that, the king is to make sure that the kingdom is smooth operating. Empire pe, king is the one who upheld social justice, order and peace. Now one thing with respect to king is, if he has to run the administration, he has to do is two things. One, he has to give out, that is do work which will benefit the people as well as the government. Other thing is collect tax. It is a two-way route. Two-way route. For that, one such thing is guilds or cooperatives were there in place. That is, if trade is to be carried out. See, trade carried out in two ways. Both internally as well as externally. Internal trade pay, whatever money is generated, that pay also tax was collected. Externally, whatever trade took place, that pay also tax was collected. This tax was collected and given to the king. To make sure the king receives constant amount of tax, there had to be a mechanism in place Okay, a mechanism in place which will be making sure that yes, for this transaction this is the amount of tax to be levied, for this particular good to be purchased or sold this is the amount of tax that has to be levied or paid up. So to make sure that he got a constant amount of tax, there would be guilds or cooperatives which looked for, okay, which looked after your trade. Alright, and they were also the ones which were like a body which used to settle disputes. Alright. Now, when we speak about trade, the automatic thing, a lot of people will come in, the concept of city will be there. Yes, whenever we say trade, then it is obviously city, right? Largely cities, towns and everything. So when these are developing, people from all walks of life will come in. If all walks of life, which means different faith, different belief system, which means different religions will be followed. If they have to make sure this tax has to be efficiently reaching him, then all those people also should be protected, which means all their religious interests should be protected. Thus, we see a phase of religious tolerance during the Rashtrakutans. Alright? Next, how was the society at large? Okay, this is the period of time we also see your Bhakti movement of your Nayanars and Alvars. Okay, basically what they thought was, look at this, equality of man. That is, see, we also saw that the society, right, Varnashrama was there, Shudras were faring a bit better. Why specifically we use that here? It is because of Bhakti movement. One case also, I'm not telling largely it was because of only Bhakti movement, there are multiple factors which made sure to preach, okay, in the devotion with respect to God, okay, and also show that we're all equal. Alright, so this concept to an extent played a role in the status of different varnas. Okay, next is, it helped to bridge the gap between upper caste and lower caste. We have also seen this. See, first case we see with respect to your Varna system, and second case we see with respect to your caste system. Okay. Now, the society at that period of time was also having one other thing, that is your joint family concept. That was a pretty much norm. We also see prevalence of sati and child marriage during your Rashtrakutan period. Alright. Next. See, Rashtrakutan kings, especially the pinnacle was reached during your Amogha Varsha I. Right? So, Amogha Varsha I was a great learned scholar himself who patronized literature, literary activities, and also Rashtrakutans are, okay, very much known with respect to your three Ratna or three jewels. Okay, so there were three most eminent poets who belonged to this Rashtrakutan period and who were patronized by the Rashtrakutan kings, who also gave equal emphasis on education. And on education, both literature of Kannada and Sanskrit were patronized. Alright, look at this. Three Ratna poets were Pampa, Ranna, Ponna. Okay, these are the books written by your three jewels of Kannada literary activity. Alright. Next. How is the economic condition? Again, if economy has to come in, A, it's through agriculture, and B, it's through trade. Right? Trade we have discussed both internal as well as external. For the internal trades, we have concepts of merchants, guilds, shrenis, everything coming up for external trade. That is trade with a foreign country. We have Arab middlemen. Okay, they are playing the role of facilitating the trade between the Rashtrakutan Empire and your foreign country. Alright, agricultural part, the king also made sure that he made sufficient amount of investment. He built good amount of infrastructure for the agriculture so that, okay, good amount of lands could be converted into agricultural lands, okay, and good amount of tax and revenue can be generated from the agriculture. Alright. So one other thing with respect to Rashtrakutans is mining and industry saw good amount of progress during this period. It also progressed to a larger scale, so much so that it was utilized for both import as well as export. Alright. Now let's see what were the items of import and export. Okay. Look at this. Muslins, hides, mats, indigo, incense, sandalwood, teakwood, ivory. These are all the items of exports, that is from the Rashtrakutan period. From the India, these were the products that were sold outside. Gold, wine, copper, tin, lead, topaz and your precious metals were the item of interest to be imported, bringing back to the country. Alright. Now, commercial transactions, that is how exactly was the means of transaction for this kind of trade. It was one through barter system and also through your coins and currency. Okay. Now for coins and currency, again entrepreneurship, merchants, everything, this pretty much same thing what we have today but in a different version back then. So banking system was also undertaken, okay, by your guilds or shrenis at that period of. If you look at the Rashtrakutan period of time, the society is fairly well functioning, okay. It also seems equitable and just, alright. If you do like our content, subscribe to our channel, hit the like button and share it along with your friends. Thank you.